Have you ever noticed how your taste has changed over the years? Maybe you find yourself reaching for that little piece of dark chocolate after dinner, or perhaps a pinch of salt on your morning eggs makes all the difference. It seems harmless, right? A little sweet here, a little salty there. But what if I told you that your preference, whether you lean more towards salty snacks or sweet treats, could quietly be revealing something important about your blood pressure, especially after the age of 60, when the body starts sending out signals that it needs more care, more attention, and a lot more listening. You see, our cravings aren't just about taste. They can be messages from our body. Subtle, silent whispers that something inside may be slightly off balance. And when it comes to blood pressure, those whispers matter more than we think. Let's have a real conversation. Just you and me. No pressure, no medical jargon, just simple truths that might open your eyes a bit wider next time you're standing in front of the pantry. Most of us grew up believing that salt was the biggest villain in the blood pressure story. And sure, too much salt can definitely cause trouble. But what many people don't realize is that sugaries, even the innocent kind hiding in your tea or cereal, can also sneak in and raise your blood pressure without making a sound. It's not just about salt or sugar separately, it's about the balance, the habits, and how your body processes each of them as you age. Now, think about your typical day. When you get that little craving, what's your go-to? Are you the kind who loves salty peanuts while watching the evening news? Or do you find comfort in a cookie with your tea? That small choice actually says more than you might think. People who crave salt might be dealing with low sodium due to certain medications or conditions. But others may simply be used to decades of eating processed foods can dull your sensitivity, making you crave more to get the same taste. On the flip side, people who turn to sweets often don't realize how sugar quietly stiffens arteries, triggers insulin spikes, and yes, raises blood pressure, especially when the sugar adds up day after day. Here's a little story for you. A man named Mr. Long, 72 years old, came into his doctor's office for a regular checkup. His blood pressure had been creeping up slowly, nothing too alarming, but enough to raise concern. He didn't eat much salt, rarely added it to his food, and proudly avoided packaged meals. But here's the twist: the loved honey in his tea, 3 cups a day, each with a generous spoonful. And every afternoon, he treated himself to a small pastry. He thought he was being kind to himself, and in a way, he was. But his doctor gently explained that sugar acts like a hidden fuel for high blood pressure, especially in older adults. It raises triglycerides, causes water retention, and pushes the heart to work harder, even when you're just relaxing on the porch. And that's the tricky part. Sugar doesn't give off warning signs like salt does. You won't feel bloated or thirsty the same way. Instead, it quietly slips into your bloodstream, builds up tension in your arteries, and slowly narrows the room your blood has to move through. For seniors, whose arteries may already be stiffening with age, this can be dangerous. You might feel fine until one day dizzy after standing up, lightheaded during your walk, or just unusually tired for no clear reason. It doesn't have to come from cakes or candy either. White bread, fruit juices, even healthy granola bars can be loaded with hidden sugars that your heart doesn't appreciate. But don't worry, this isn't about cutting out all the joy in your meals. It's about understanding your body a little better, giving yourself the kindness of knowledge. You don't have to stop enjoying food. You just have to start noticing it more. The first step is awareness. Pay attention to what you reach for when you're hungry or tired. Is it something salty because your body's been sweating or your meds are drawing sodium out? Is it something sweet because you're feeling emotionally low or need quick energy? Neither craving is bad in itself. It's the habit that follows that makes the real difference. So today, as we begin this journey together, think about your last snack. What did you choose and why? Did you go for something that made you feel good in the moment? That's okay, we all do. But maybe now is the time to pause and ask, What is my body trying to tell me? Because whether it whispers through cravings or speaks out through symptoms, your body is always talking. You just have to learn how to listen. Now let's go a little deeper into what these cravings might mean, and more importantly, how we can gently guide our body back into balance. Let's say you lean towards salt you love a little soy sauce with your noodles, maybe a few chips in the afternoon, or a good old pickle with your sandwich. You might be surprised to know that even when you don't add salt to your food, it could already be there hidden in the very ingredients you use every day. Breads, canned vegetables, salad dressings, sauces, many of them carry sodium in amounts that build up quietly, meal after meal. It's like drops in a bucket. One or two don't seem like much, but by the end of the day, the bucket's full and your blood pressure knows it, even if you don't. Here's something else that surprises many people. The older we get, the less our taste buds function like they used to. This isn't your fault, it's just a natural part of aging. But it means we may start adding more salt just to feel the flavor again. The danger is, while our tongue adjusts to that extra salt, our heart and blood vessels don't. They still respond the same way by holding on to more water, increasing volume, and raising the pressure inside those tiny, hard-working tubes we call arteries. Over time, this can lead to headaches, blurry vision, fatigue, and even heart damage. But here's the good news. Once you slowly start lowering the salt in your food, your taste buds begin to adjust again. You start tasting the natural sweetness of tomatoes, the depth of mushrooms, the warmth of herbs. Food becomes satisfying in a whole new way, one that doesn't ask your heart to work overtime. Now let's swing back to the sweet side. This one's a bit trickier because it wears many masks. Sugar doesn't just come from cakes and cookies. It hides in yogurts, sauces, even soups. And the effects of sugar on blood pressure are sneaky. It increases insulin, which in turn tells your kidneys to retain more sodium. So now you've got a double whammy: more water in your system and narrower arteries. That's a recipe for hypertension, and it happens in the background, quietly, over time. You won't feel it right away, but one day you notice you're getting tired faster, or your ankles are swelling a little more than they used to. That's when your body is saying, hey, something's off. Here's a simple but powerful thing you can try. Start reading labels, not in a stressful, obsessive way, but just out of curiosity. Look at the sugar and sodium content in the things you buy most. You might be shocked to find that your healthy morning cereal has more sugar than a cookie, or your favorite canned soup has enough sodium for the whole day. When you see the numbers, it starts to click. This isn't about willpower or restriction. It's about being aware, because once you know what's going in, you can make better choices without feeling like you're giving something up. A woman named Mrs. Than, 68, once told me a story I'll never forget. She said she didn't understand why her blood pressure was still high, even after cutting back on salt. Then, one day, she realized she was drinking 2 glasses of sweetened soy milk every morning and having fruit-flavored yogurt for lunch. On top of that, she had a habit of sipping sweetened iced tea throughout the day. All healthy choices in her mind. But the sugars added up. Once she swapped her drinks for plain tea and her yogurt for a lower sugar version, she felt a shift. Her numbers came down. She felt clearer, lighter, all because she listened, not just to her cravings, but to the story behind them. We often think of cravings as something bad, something to resist. But really, cravings are messengers. They tell us what's missing, what's overloaded, or even what's become a habit more than a need. Instead of ignoring them or feeling guilty about them, start asking gentle questions. Why do I want this? How will I feel after eating this? Is there another way I could care for myself right now? Maybe the craving for sugar is actually your body needing rest. Maybe that salty snack is your way of looking for comfort or distraction. When you start listening in this way, food stops being the enemy. It becomes a tool, a quiet, powerful way to love your body. And here's something else that often gets overlooked: hydration. Yes, plain old water. Many cravings, especially for salt, come from dehydration. As we age, our sense of thirst weakens, and we don't always realize we're running low on fluids. So, when you feel like reaching for something salty, try sipping a glass of water first. Just wait a few minutes. You might be surprised sometimes that craving fades because it wasn't hunger or salt you needed, but simple hydration. The same goes for sugar. Sometimes the craving comes from low energy, and instead of a sugary boost, your body might just need movement, a nap, or a breath of fresh air. All of this isn't about being perfect. It's not about never eating your favorite foods again. It's about having choices. When you know what your body is asking for and what those salty or sweet cravings really mean, you gain freedom. Freedom to enjoy your meals with more awareness. Freedom to prevent problems before they grow. And freedom to feel more in control of your health, one day at a time. You know, it's funny how the smallest shifts can create the biggest impact. Something as simple as switching from sweetened yogurt to plain, or replacing your usual salty crackers with a handful of unsalted nuts, might not seem like much. But over time, those little decisions start to shape your health in a way you can actually feel. It's not about overhauling your diet overnight or cutting out everything you love. It's about making peace with your body and helping it thrive with just a little more care, a little more thoughtfulness, a little more listening. Now, let's talk about another sneaky part of the sugar-salt equation: processed foods. After 60, our metabolism naturally slows down and the body becomes more sensitive to what we put in it. Processed foods, whether frozen dinners or packaged snacks, are often loaded with both sugar and salt. Not because the food needs it, but because it makes the product taste good and last longer on the shelf. The problem is, your heart, kidneys, and blood vessels weren't designed to handle that constant load day in and day out. Over time, this can lead to what doctors call silent hypertension, where your blood pressure is high, but you feel completely fine. No symptoms, no alarms, until one day, something changes. That's why awareness is so powerful, because the earlier you notice, the easier it is to shift. A simple trick many people find helpful is preparing more meals at home, not elaborate ones, just simple, fresh meals you can trust. When you cook at home, you control what goes in your food. You can use herbs for flavor, squeeze a little lemon for brightness, or stir in some garlic or ginger to give your dishes that satisfying punch without needing heavy salt or hidden sugar. Many seniors I know actually rediscover the joy of cooking later in life. It becomes a peaceful, creative moment in the day, and the body responds beautifully to it. You start sleeping better, feeling clearer, and noticing less swelling, less fatigue. Your numbers start to shift, little by little, in the right direction. Of course, food is just one piece of the puzzle. Movement is another. Even a short daily walk helps your body use sugar more effectively and lowers your pressure naturally. When your blood gets moving, your vessels relax, and your heart doesn't have to push as hard. It's like oiling a machine. It keeps things running smoothly. You don't need a gym, membership, or fancy routines. Just moving your body with intention, gardening, dancing to your favorite music, walking the dog, or simply stretching in the morning can make a world of difference. And when you pair that with smarter food choices, especially being mindful of how much sugar and salt you take in, the benefits multiply. There's one more thing I want to share with you, and it may be the most important of all: self-compassion. Changing lifelong habits isn't easy. You've lived a full life. You've enjoyed countless delicious meals, family feasts, afternoon treats, and you should never feel guilty about that. Your relationship with food is part of your story. This isn't about blame. It's about honoring your body now, in this season of life, and choosing to care for it in a way that helps you feel better, live longer, and enjoy more of the moments that matter. So maybe today, you add a little less sugar to your tea. Or you try a new herbal seasoning in place of salt. Maybe you start by drinking more water or reading a label you never thought to check before. Whatever it is, let it come from a place of curiosity, not criticism. Let your choices come from a place of love, because when you treat your body with kindness, it responds in kind. Before we finish, I want to ask you something. What's one small change you feel inspired to try after watching this? Share it with me in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video spoke to you, even just a little, give it a like to let me know. It helps the video reach more people who might be facing the same questions, the same challenges. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We talk about real issues here, things that matter to people like you who want to age with strength, joy, and purpose. You're not alone in this journey. Every day is a new chance to feel better, to live better, to choose better. Don't underestimate the power of small steps. Your heart is worth it. Your health is worth it. And most importantly, you are worth it. Here's to living your best life at any age. Let's keep moving forward, one wise choice at a time.